story time about how I was doing the nasty with my camp counselor. What the fuck? This one should be interesting. Okay, so a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school, and I guess you could say this all pretty much started whenever I was in 5th grade. This was the year that I was finally able to go to this legendary camp that my brothers had always talked about, that they went to literally every year until they were like 18 years old. And now that I was finally old enough, I was super excited because this meant that it was the time for me to go make these fun memories and crazy experiences that my brothers talked about. And I did. Okay, this camp, literally so much fun, from the amazing food to the fun people. And most importantly, there was like horseback riding there, which was my absolute favorite thing to do. I ended up liking it so much that I kept asking my family to send me there every summer, and my mom was super fucking annoyed because she would always try to get me to do like a sports camp or something else, but it never worked because I would throw a fucking fit. Or my dad would step in and be like, she's not gonna be a cheerleader just like you. Stop living out your dreams through her. Period, Dad. Put that hoe in her place. Anyways, that being said, now that I am older and it was the end of my sophomore year, I was only able to be a camper for 1 more year. They had this rule that once you turn 17, instead of being a camper, you would have to be a CIT or a counselor in training. And I never wanted to be a counselor. Honestly, it sounded like too much freaking work. So I knew this was going to be my last year ever going to this camp. So when the time came, I packed my 2 big ass suitcases and my mom and I hit the road because we had to drive 7 hours away to this camp because it was in West Virginia and we did not live close at all. That's probably another reason why my mom kept wanting me to do something else every summer, but I didn't give a fuck. And pretty much the whole ride up there, I was stalking the new counselors' Instagrams. By the way, if I have like a lisp, it's because I have my Invisalign. I just switched my trays today, so ignore it. Okay. Anyways, like I said, I spent the whole entire time stalking all the new camp counselors on Instagram. And if you think that's weird, then you're weird. Because if you don't stalk people on social media before you meet them for the first time, what the fuck are you doing? And don't tell me you're being normal, because sis, it's 2022. Get it together. Anyways, if you were going to this camp, there was like this contact sheet where you could like put your Instagram or your phone number in, stuff like that. So I ended up like adding everybody on Snapchat, and from the pictures I saw that there were going to be a lot of people from the year before, but also a lot of new faces, and these new faces looked very cute. There were a lot of guys from Florida and Chicago and New Jersey who were gonna be there, and they literally were very, 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 very good looking. And the good thing was I was single for the summer. I made sure that I was going to be single whenever I came here. Like, I broke up with my boyfriend of 3 months just so I could be single when I go to camp. So fast forward, I fall asleep in the car, and as we're pulling into the parking lot, I wake up, and when I check my phone, I had 23 new followers and a few Snapchats from some of the counselors. So this was off to a great start already. Once I got to my cabin, I unpacked all of my bags, and the cabin that I was staying in had 7 other girls. And before the dinner bell rang, I got to talk to a few of them, get to know them. Some of the girls I already knew from the previous years. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually really happy this year, because sometimes the cabins that you get put in with certain people, like, there's always those few that like you really just don't fucking like. But this year the cabin was actually full of people who seemed very chill and just like people I could get along with. And the girls and boys had separate cabins, obviously. Once the dinner bell rang, we went to that part of camp, and finally we got to meet some of the guys. And y'all, I'm not even gonna lie, I low-key felt like I was on Love Island, okay? All of them were my age. All of them had the nicest abs, and they were all like 5'9". That is like a 10 out of 10 right there. You don't need anything else besides those qualities. But not to mention, it was literally like open season, so obviously there were a ton of other girls, and we were all gonna be competing to get with certain guys. I guess we all had the same exact idea when we signed up for camp this year. So there was Devin, who was 6'2" and really good looking. And then there was Jackie. I would say Jackie was like the shortest one. I'm not even gonna lie. He was like 5'7". But he was like a smooth talker with like the girls. So like that's 10 out of 10. And last but not least, Damien from New Jersey. Ladies, he was definitely the hottest out of all the guys, no question about it. Now obviously there were like more good looking guys, but those were like top 3. So after dinner, the girls and I had like a little meeting in like our cabin, right? And we decided the guys that we were going to go for and which guys were off limits. Now, obviously, this was just between us 7 girls. Like, we didn't get to talk to any of the other girls at the camp. So, at least that was like 6 other girls that we didn't have to worry about going for the man that we wanted. Even though there were like 20 other girls that we had to worry about. So, of course, everybody else and I wanted to go for Damien because, like I said, he was the hottest one. But Lizzie was like, no, I want to go for him, da-da-da-da-da. And, I mean, in all fairness, to be honest, he did, like, take a really good liking to her at dinner. Like, he sat next to her, he talked to her the whole time, so it was only fair. So I get next pick and I picked Devin, right? Because even though he wasn't as good looking, he was still tall with a good sense of humor. So in the end, he's an 8 or 9. I'll give him 9. So that night we all had a choice to meet up at the beach by the lake to divide the new campers into their teams. Now, there were 2 teams. Once you were on a team, that was the team that you were on every summer. Every single summer. So in 5th grade, I got put on the Razorback team. And even though I'm already on my set team, I can choose to go and watch the ceremony pretty much. And that being said, all the guys went, so you knew that every other girl and I were going to be there. So the girls and I are putting our makeup on, getting ready for this ceremony. Not too much makeup. We want to make it look like we're effortlessly beautiful. Once Susan, Lizzie, and I were ready, we left all the other bitches at the cabin because we were not about to wait for them. So on our way down to the beach, we ran into 6 guys that we had never seen before that also were not on the contact list, okay? And these guys were even hotter than the guys that I told you about earlier. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't think it was. Once we got closer, we realized they were all wearing red shirts. Now, in this camp, red shirts meant that you were staff, okay? Lord help me, these men were fine as fuck. Like, all of them looked like college athletes but on steroids. They were just really good looking. We're just gonna leave it there, okay? Like, I felt like I was in heaven. So I did what hopefully every other girl would do in my situation. I played stupid and walked up to them as if I had never been to this camp before, and I was like, do you guys know where the beach is? Now, your girl's a little socially awkward, so that is the only thing that came to mind when I was thinking of what I was going to make up to talk to them. But at the end of the day, it worked. Take notes. Anyways, yeah, I already knew who I was going after this summer. Fuck Devin. I didn't want him no more. I fell in love with one guy, and all he had to say was, "It's down there and to the left, love," in a British accent. 10 out of 10 just for that. Anyways, at that moment, I knew that it was going to be a very, 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 very long and exciting summer. Anyways, so after I talk to them, I go to the beach where the ceremony is being held, and then I end up staying like 15 minutes after to talk to Devin, because the only time that you saw the staff was whenever activities were going on. Whenever nothing was going on, you didn't see them. But I couldn't stop thinking of the love of my life, aka the British dude. So the next couple days were literally like the most agonizing, annoying fucking days I've ever had in my life. They had us outside every morning at 5 in the morning to get us used to the new schedule and all the new activities that they had. And while we were doing this, we didn't see the boys at all. like not even once. But after those few days, stuff went back to normal and we got to hang out with them some more. I started to talk to Devin a little bit more, and I definitely started to just forget about the other guy, you know, the one that I said I wanted to marry. Yeah. So Devin and I start hanging out more, and the one night while we're hanging out, he's like, hey, will you come with me to go and get my snacks? That is code for let's go make out behind one of the cabins. And I was down for it because this is what I was looking forward to the whole freaking year, was this summer. But after a couple of days, rumors started going around about relationships between the counselors and the campers. It was said that one of the American guys slept with the British dude's girlfriend. Not my man, another British guy. But it was all resolved in the end because, you know, bros before hoes, apparently. But the higher ups made an announcement that if they find out that if anybody is getting romantically involved with anyone, there will be consequences, aka meaning you're gonna get kicked out. So after that, Devin and I kept it like really low key because I was not about to get kicked out. Like, it got to the point where we were sneaking out at like 2 in the morning to go and make out down by the water, which usually you could just do that during the day whenever there was nothing to do, but yeah. So after about 2 weeks, I told him that I wanted us to be exclusive, which was okay. You just couldn't be doing stuff with each other. So if we were boyfriend and girlfriend, that was fine, right? So he promised me to be exclusive for the summer, but we weren't gonna tell anybody yet. Because I'm one of those people that doesn't like to tell anybody about anything until I make sure that it's gonna last, because I don't want to look like a dumbass. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably feel the same way. Like how when you can't tell your parents about a boy because then if you guys break up a week after, it's embarrassing. And I figured this was a good move, especially since girls were starting to realize that it was slim pickings because everybody was already pretty much hooking up with somebody. So girls were trying to get with him, which I was not gonna let happen. So I figured I should probably get our relationship on lock before some little fucking new camper decides to snatch him from me. So the next day, Lizzie and I go to tennis because she's been freaking begging me to go since like the first day we got here. Once we got there, I saw the British guy, who we're gonna call Ethan. And bruh, I literally was fighting the fucking air. I just basically got into a relationship and now this motherfucker wants to show up out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck? So he walks up to us and he's like, nice to see you lovely ladies again. I think I should just stop trying to impersonate an accent, and yeah, I'm done. Anyways, fast forward, once we start doing the tennis shit, I can't figure out how to swing the racket for the life of me. So Captain Save a Desperate Hoe comes over and he decides that he's gonna show me how. And I had no clue what he meant when he said he was gonna show me how to hit it, but he like came over, put his hand on my hip, grabbed one of my arms. I'm like, okay. He probably really didn't even mean it that way. I'm probably just taking everything way out of context right now.